Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can be a member of the Shannons Club. Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Gun Lake Quarries. As we make our way around this great state, I now bring you to Wagga, New South Wales. It's time to feature the CHACA Car Club and a few of its members in this week's episode of Classic Restos on the Road. And before you see some devoted motoring enthusiasts, Wagga Wagga is a major regional city in the beautiful Riverina region of New South Wales, and I encourage you to get out and see it when you can. Straddling the Murrumbidgee River, Wagga has an urban population of more than 56,000 people that adore this part of New South Wales. It's the state's largest inland city, where you can stroll the wonderful parks and gardens, cycle the bikeways, take a nature walk along the banks of the Murrumbidgee, or an outing to one of the specialty markets. And you can even bring out your artistic side by visiting the museums, art galleries and theatres. From traditional to contemporary, there is something to suit all tastes. Wagga is an important agricultural, military and transport hub of Australia, and it's renowned for being the place where paths cross and people meet. And now it's time for some classic cars out on the street. Glorious day here in Wagga, New South Wales on beautiful Lake Albert. Got the boat club behind us and, of course, a gorgeous EA as well. How you doing, Paul?
I'm going all right. Thanks, Fletch.
That is good. Thanks for turning up.
Oh, that's all right. Pleasure to be here.
You didn't have any problems with turning up today. You jumped at it, didn't you?
I certainly did. Not a problem.
Now, what is it with these EHs? We're seeing quite a few of them come through on Classic Restos, which is a good thing because representing, I guess, the mark of all our old cars here in Australia, it's just nice to know they're there. And this one means a lot to you, Paul.
Yes, I've had this car for now 19 years, and I know the full history of it from day one, and I'll never be out of it in my sight.
So you're going to keep it forever, right?
I'm going to be buried in it. I tell everybody it's my coffin.
It's going to be a big backhoe job.
I got a bloke organised for that.
All right, tell us what you can about it, Paul.
Well, the car was nowhere near what it is. It was an old farmer's car from out between a district called Cuba. That's between Gundagai and Junee. And when I was 50-some years and years ago, I said to my wife, I'm going to buy myself a present. Anyway, my mates at work said, well, what are you going to buy yourself? And I said, I want an EH ute. And this particular day, one of my mates at the hospital in Wagga, unbeknown to me, he went to Junee Hospital, and I got a message to ring Junee Hospital. There's a bloke over here who's got an EH. And I rang up a fellow by the name of Paul Daly. He's Laurie Daly, the footballer's uncle. And he said, you looking for an EH, mate? And I said, yeah. And he says, I know where there's one. He said, you come and pick me up. And I said, where is it? He said, you wouldn't tell me. He said, you come and pick me up on next Sunday and I'll take you out there and have a look at it. Anyway, he went out there, introduced me to the old farm that had it, and it had horse bites in it, kicks in it. It had a plastic grill across the front. Anyway, I said, what's that all about? And he says, well, I'm getting sick of taking the grill out of it to get the grasshoppers out of it, so it was easier to clean it that way. Anyway, you had all the old parts and I put it all back in, and anyway, over the years that I've had it, I've taken it back to Jerilderie, where the car come from originally, and the fellow that had it, he sold it 10 minutes later to Wagga Motors because his wife didn't like the bench seat, and he bought a EH Prem, and the bloke I got it off went to Wagga on the day to buy a new car. He seen this one, and he had it right up until, registered up until 1998, and I bought it off him in 2000.
Isn't it incredible to see a car of this age with an original interior? And when we talk of bench seats, the old seats in these cars, they never had a real lot of padding under them. So to go over 50 years and have relatively no splits in the vinyl, the seats are in fantastic condition, Paul.
No, well, this car has never had a child in the back seat, and it was basically just a one-person car.
Okay, Paul, engine up front, 149, 179. What's the deal there?
Well, It still has the original factory motor in it. 149 head. Block's been bored to 161. It has twin carburetors on it, Strongberg carbies on it.
And in the wheel department, Paul, what's an old Holden without a slightly more wide steel wheel, eh?
Yeah, they're 6-inch deep dish, hubcaps and dress rims. Suspension is pedals all around, lowered 2 inches on the front, and the back end's only got 1.5 inch blocks under it, and it's got ute springs under it. So when I go way down to Winton with my mates, I don't want to be coming home in the dark possum hunting with the headlights up in the trees.
Paul, on that note, I want to thank you so much. Paul's been an integral part of this episode, the next couple of episodes, organising some members from the CHACA Car Club here in Wagga. Mate, thank you very much, and we love your EH.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm glad you've come out to showcase a few of our cars. This is nowhere near all the cars we have, and thank you again.
That's right, Paul. That's what I love about these country locations. Every episode is simply a toe in the water. And if we can just reveal some and we keep coming back, well, we can look forward to that, can't we?
Yep, we certainly can. We'll organise a bigger and better shows for you next time, mate.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay. This EH means the world to me. I wouldn't part with it for anything. Anything. It takes me anywhere I want to go. Anywhere I want to go. Anywhere in Australia when I can get there. And I've had this car now for quite a while, 18, 19 years. And it is my coffin. No one's going to take it off me. Having a bad day at home and you want to get away from everything, you just get in the EH and you go for a long drive. It's comfortable, it handles well, like it went wind the window down and the breeze is blowing in, you listen to the birds when you're going slow enough, and the dust is sucking in and you know, a truck comes up towards you, wind it back up real quick, and anyway, and you look behind you and you'll see, oh, well, there's no one up behind me, I'm putting the boot into it. I'll put the boot into it and you're hunting out along those back roads between Lagos around and you're doing 80 mile an hour and you think, hello, there's something coming up quick, I better back off. And it could be, and it is, look out.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Hare and Forbes Machinery House has been family owned and operated for over 85 years, and it's easy to see why. Planning on welding? Look at these welding tables and clamps, air compressors and different air tools, sandblasting cabinets, through to spray guns. Everyone is welcome at Machinery House. There are competitive freight rates around Australia, and you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. So remember, Hare and Forbes has the range. Time now for the coolest kid on the block. How you doing, Lyell?
Good, thank you, Fletch.
That's good. I love your Escort.
Thank you very much.
You do not see these around very often as it is, let alone this condition.
No. They're very collectible now, actually. Little Mk1 two-doors.
Absolutely. 1973 model, you have left no bolt unturned here. It's virtual, in my opinion, almost a Concours car. This is one of the tidiest Escorts I've seen. Run us through what you've done.
I brought it as a project car off a guy I know, but he brought it off the original owners, yep. So it's virtually a one-owner car till I got it. Yep. And it was sort of started as a resto, but he just left it. Yep. I picked it up off him, and then I just continued on and just went till I went got it right, finished. And
Well, this is a beautiful car. You've done outstanding work here. I love the original interior, the high back bucket seats in the front, as opposed to the earlier models that weren't like that. It's a nice looking car. The paint's beautiful. What's the name of that?
burnt orange.
Well, there you go. That could have almost been a lucky guess. And around to the front of the car and under the bonnet, that little 1600 sitting there. Wow, that looks superb.
Yes, it does the job, that's for sure. It's a good little motor, actually. Yeah.
Okay, well, I can see a set of extractors there. You've got a Weber 2-barrel carby on there as well. What else have you done there, Lyell?
I just had a bit of a cam put in it, port and polishing on the heads. Just a rebore. It's actually 1680 cc's now.
That's a big block.
Yeah.
Now, obviously not an overhead cam engine.
No.
We're still a pushrod engine here. Yep. Runs well.
It does, yeah, really well.
Everything here just looks so well done. It's the way that I like to do things as well. That convoluted tube around the wiring and a cable tie around the end of it to keep it closed. Or if you put a piece of tape around, then put a cable tie around so the tape doesn't undo. Attention to detail like that.
Yes, yeah.
Now, when you got the car, Lyell, was it a bit of a basket case, or was it already pretty good?
No, it was a really good body, extremely good body. It only had one very small hole of rust in the floor pan, and the rest of the body was absolutely immaculate, as like rust-wise. But the guy I brought it off, he'd sprayed the engine bay and he sprayed the boot, and that's all. And then he just left it.
I personally believe you can always tell a car that's been restored that looks absolutely out of this world. 9.5 times out of 10, it was a good body to start with. You can kind of just tell, can't you?
Yes, yeah, for sure, yeah. And the guy I brought it off is a bloke I know, and he's been around Escorts all his life. So he brought it off the original owner, and I gathered he wouldn't have brought anything that it was full of rust because he knows the cars so well. So when he put it up for sale, I thought, this is probably a good chance to buy a good body here. And all I wanted really was the body because I was going to do my own thing with it. And I was very, very happy actually with what I got.
Good on you, Lyell. Well done. Well, look, on that note, I want to congratulate you on getting the car to this condition. A lot of the parts look brand new. It's like I say, Lyell's just gone into the Ford dealership yesterday and wind the clock back and bought brand new stuff. We look around, even the colour of the fan and around the engine bay, everything just looks so nice. So again, it's a credit to you, and thanks for coming out here to Lake Albert at Wagga here today and being a part of this Wagga episode.
Thank you very, very much, Fletch. I actually had my 70th birthday last week, and I find that having a car, in my case I've got 2 cars, that is a reason to get up every morning and I go down to the shed and I just look forward to tinkering in the shed. I get a feeling of accomplishment for sure. Considering what I took the car from to what it is today, I'm fairly proud actually of what I've done, and it's a fun little thing to drive. I love it. I get out on the road and you just drive along. When I brought the car, I was never ever, all my life, I've never been remotely interested in a Ford Escort. It'd be the last car in the world I would ever dream I'd have. But when this friend offered it to me, and I looked it over and I thought, this car is worth saving. Definitely is worth saving. I just hope you people watching this will enjoy my little car that's sitting here behind me, because I certainly do enjoy it.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannons home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannons.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
And whilst staying in Wagga, I can highly recommend the Townhouse Hotel. Featuring the Oak Room, Wagga's finest restaurant, where stylish furnishings and expressive culinary creations await you. Then it's upstairs to the rooms, and here is a family spa suite to keep everyone happy and comfortable. The Townhouse Wagga, built to inspire and energise their guests. See more at townhousewagga.com. Pretty cool, huh? 1982 BMW. And the last time a BMW featured on the show, it was Michael Sade's car, the Business Development Officer for Shannons for the Newcastle region. And you can look for that episode on the Shannons Club, which takes me to, if you have a classic, it just has to be insured with Shannons. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. And again, the Shannons Club awaits you. For more information, visit shannons.com.au. We've got to keep position, Woody. Now, you're not allowed to move. That's one reason why I've got you wedged up against the door, so you're not going anywhere.
Okay. I didn't figure I would be.
Woody, thank you for bringing this beautiful car along. What a tremendous piece of art this is. We're looking at a 1955 Oldsmobile Rocket. Holiday, the name of the car, an absolute gem, Woody.
Well, it is. I never thought I'd ever own something like this, and when I got the chance, I took it.
When were you inspired to purchase a 1955 vehicle such as this?
Well, I was inspired when I was 12-year-old. I had a picture of exactly the same car out of the Saturday Evening Post, double page, stuck up on my bedroom wall, same colour, four-door HUD. And I thought I'd give my right arm to see one of those. And when a chance came to get one, I took it.
See, these cars were just never available in Australia.
No.
They just weren't. You would have had to have been an incredibly wealthy person back in the day to have gone through the process of importing a vehicle such as this. Being a fisher body car as well, we've got a lot of elaborate lines here. We're talking mid-50s, a lot of rounded lines. One thing I've always admired about what they've done with these cars is they've got, well, they were so proud of the product that they put an actual die-cast picture of North and South America on the car. Now, how many manufacturers have ever done that?
That's right, and they got one on the steering wheel too.
Yeah.
So you remember where it comes from.
Yeah. Now, speaking of which, this is a Meekham's auction car from Texas. How did you end up getting it, Woody?
Well, it was actually, the car was from Indiana originally. One family owned it, and the father had it as a special car, didn't use it as a daily driver, and he died in 1980. The car was last registered. I still got the 1980 sticker on it. And in 1980, it done 16,000 something miles. It's only done 2,000 miles in the last 40 years.
Woody, 2,000 miles in 40 years. You're going to have to be up for an oil change just to say it's fresh.
That's right, just about due. And degrees.
Well, I know you can stand there all day pulling that dipstick out and wiping it, and every time you pull it out, it's still got oil on it.
That's right.
So we're looking at a 1955 car in the year of 2020, which is, it's almost hard to comprehend. But we are looking at brand new here, original paint, an original interior. That's just amazing. So up under the hood, we've got some late model bonnet insulation there. So what's the story with the engine bay?
They said the engine bay's been detailed, and what exactly they did, I'm not sure. It's got new insulation. They sprayed a bit of paint around and cleaned it up, but it's, everything appears original.
It's also got the original bonding putty too around the seams as well.
Yeah. And all the boots all original, and it's got the original how to work the jack, and it's a bit tattered and torn.
When you look at this car, Oldsmobile for 55, talk about exuberance in its own elegance as well. You look at the interior and across the top of the roof with the chrome support bars, even that in itself, just sitting in the car and looking up at the roof, that's a view.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, might sound a bit strange, but I sometimes come out and just sit in the car.
I tell you what, This is no secret to anyone watching Classic Restos. Woody, you are not on your own. That's what we do. We go to our cars, or we'll go and sit on our bikes or sit in our trucks. This is what our classic vehicles mean to us. This is all part of the therapy, Woody.
Yeah, well, good therapy. Every time I see the car, there's two things. I cannot comprehend the car. Even I don't know how it could be so good, and on the fact that I've got it.
You know what I think? I think we get to a point of our life where our appreciations for things change. And where we may have looked at something 30 years ago and looked the other way, it's a different story now. So an old car when we were kids growing up was an old car, meant nothing. But now to get to the point of lives that we're at, and you have waited all your life to get this. This is why this car means so much to you.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It's more than a car to me. And I mean, if my mother was alive and she saw this car, she would know. She'd say, that's the car that was on your window, on your wall in 1955.
Engine up front, tell us the details there. We know it's a Oldsmobile Rocket, and boy, Oldsmobile, they really marketed their rocket power back then.
Well, they were the original muscle car when they come out with the Rocket 88 in 1948.
What size engine?
324 cubic inch.
We're talking 324 cubic inches with a 4-barrel carb in 1955. And again, just stop for a moment and think what we had here, with all due respects, running around Australia in 1955. There was nothing even close to this.
And it's got power steer, which works good. It's power brakes. It's got a 4-speed auto. A few people have argued, said, oh, it wouldn't be a 4-speed auto, but it is. I've counted them.
Woody, thank you for your time here today. You've really done the episode proud with bringing this along. It's not a Buick, it's not a Cadillac. It's something that from the mid-50s that is definitely rarer. And it's been a pleasure having you on today's show.
Well, thanks, Fletch. It's a pleasure to talk to you. One particular reason this car's special to me is that when I was 12-year-old, when they came out, I had a picture out of the Sunday Evening Post on my bedroom wall that my mother said, take down, you're not having that. And it was exactly the same car, same colour, 4-door pillarless. And at that stage, I would have given my right arm to see one. I'd never seen one. I never thought I'd ever see one. And now the fact that I now own one, I've no intention of ever getting rid of it. I've had other cars. I've had a lot of special cars. I've had a lot of cars that you can't buy here. But this one is going to stay with me. The thing drives unbelievably good for 1955. It's got power steer, it's got power brakes, it's got a 4-speed auto, and even when I take my grandson for a ride and I just give it a bit of a birdful, he says, this thing goes, the nose comes up, it does, it gets up in boogies. People say to me, every time they see me, I've got a grin from ear to ear, because it's just that sort of car. Just drive down to the corner and it just puts a smile on your face. I just enjoy it, and I enjoy other people's reaction. Other people react to it and thumbs up and toot the horn. My wife said, who was that? And I said, they're not tooting at us, they're tooting at the car. Every time I drive it, and I don't even have to drive it, I can go and, if I had a bad day, I can go out the shed and sit in it in 5 minutes and walk out and I feel better.
Well, I hope you really enjoyed this week's episode of Classic Restos, filmed in Wagga, New South Wales, featuring some of the members' cars from the CHACA Car Club. We had Paul with his incredible EH Holden. Then it was time for Lyell and his 73 Sporty Escort. And rounding off the day was Woody with his amazing 1955 Oldsmobile Rocket. And there's going to be more from Wagga on next week's show. And until then, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can be a member of the Shannons Club. Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Gun Lake Quarries.